Good morning. In the earlier lecture, we studied gradient of a scalar function. You know the three-dimensional vector differential operator nabla or del, how it is operated on a scalar point function, and after operating the nabla or del on a scalar point function, we get gradient of scalar point function. Gradient of a scalar point function is always a vector. And after that, we solved two problems of gradient of a scalar field or scalar function. Next article is about physical interpretation of gradient of a scalar. Next article, physical interpretation of gradient of a scalar. Actually, we can have various types of examples to provide physical interpretation to the gradient of a scalar. Let us start with a simple example. You know, tracking. You might have read this from newspapers. Many peoples are going for tracking. Let me consider a mountain or a hill. Let us suppose that this is a mountain or a hill. Climbing such mountain with the help of ropes and other tools, or coming down the mountain with the help of the ropes and other tools is known as tracking. We are not interested in tracking. We want to know what is physical interpretation of gradient of a scalar. Let us suppose that you want to go on top of this mountain Top of this mountain is considered as a scalar field, scalar function. Top of this mountain is considered as a scalar function. Let us suppose that you started climbing the mountain. When you climb the mountain, at every point, some force is required to hold you there at that point. The force required to hold a body at any point on this mountain is known as gradient of a scalar function. The force required anywhere to hold you, as long as you are held at every places when you are climbing, then only you can climb the mountain and go to the top. If there is no force holding you at some point, what will happen? You will fall down and slide to the ground. By rolling, you will slide to the ground, and therefore certain force is required to hold you at every point on the mountain when you are climbing the mountain to reach the top. This force required to hold a body at any point on the mountain is known as gradient of a scalar field. The force required to hold a body at any point on the mountain is known as gradient of a scalar field. This force is also defined as the steepness, maximum steepness at that point, or rate of change of elevation with respect to distance. As you go climbing, what will happen? The elevation, if this is the ground, this elevation is go on increasing with the distance. So, the force required to hold a body at any point on the mountain is known as gradient of a scalar field. This force is also known as the maximum steepness. Slope of the steepness. Slope of steepness defines the force required to hold a body at a point, or it may also be the rate of change of elevation. Elevation is increasing, elevation is becoming more and more and more high if this is the ground level, and this elevation is increasing with respect to distance. So this is known as gradient of a scalar field. This is known as gradient of a scalar field. One thing. Second thing, when you climb the mountain, how do you walk? Just straight. This is a plain ground. This is a plain floor. I can walk very easily. Almost no force is required for me when I am walking on the plain floor. Even if you are here and you are asked to walk on this floor, almost no force is required when you are walking on the floor. The case is different when you are climbing climb. The case is different when you climbing the mountain. How do we climb the mountain? This way, just erect. As you walk on this plain floor, can you climb it just as a state? No. If you try to walk just straight, here my height is perpendicular to the floor. That is, I am walking erect, straight. What is happen? This is the portion of the mountain whose elevation is going increasing with height, and we are climbing this. So we cannot be perpendicular this way at this surface. If we are perpendicular this way or this way or this way while we are climbing, what will happen? We will fall down backside, and with rolling we will come down. This is because of the force passing through center of your body. Now you have to adjust this force passing through center of your body. So whenever you are climbing some elevated portion, how do you climb? You bend forward, okay, and slowly climb the mountain. More work you need to do when you are climbing the mountain, and this is force multiplied by displacement you did when you are climbing the mountain. And what is the force? The gradient of a scalar field. Okay, you have climbed the mountain, you have moved on the top of the mountain, you have enjoyed the natural scene on the mountain, you have enjoyed a full day on the top of the mountain, and now it is time to come down the mountain. So you have to come down the mountain again. When you are coming down the mountain, does any force required? Can you come down perpendicular to the surface? No. If we come down perpendicular to the surface, we will fall down on the front side and maybe rolled down to the ground. So when you are climbing a mountain, a force is required to hold you at every place. When you are coming down the mountain, a force is required to hold at every place to your body. At that time, what we do? While climbing, we lean forward and climb the mountain slowly. But when we are coming down the mountain, we slightly bend backward and come down the mountain. This time also some sort of force is required to hold our body at different places of this mountain. This force you need it while climbing the mountain to reach the top, or the forces required to come down the mountain from the top is nothing but the gradient of a scalar field. So as soon as you use gradient of a scalar field while climbing the mountain or coming down the mountain, making the force to pass through center of gravity of your body, your climb on the mountain will be safe. you will diving, coming down from the mountain will also be safe. For this safe journey, we have to take help of gradient of a scalar field. If we take help of this gradient of a scalar field, our journey will be safe. We know the operator for gradient, which is known as three-dimensional vector differential operator del or nabla, given by I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou y. We have seen all this in the last lecture. The force required to hold a body at any place on the mountain is the maximum directional derivative, is the maximum directional derivative at that point. The magnitude of the force is magnitude of maximum directional derivative at that point on the mountain, whether you are climbing the mountain or whether you are coming down the mountain. The direction of this magnitude is always equal to direction of the maximum directional force. Direction of the maximum directional force required to hold your body at a point, at a position on the mountain. So, gradient of a scalar function is nothing but a force. What type of force? The maximum directional derivative at a position required to hold you there. Its magnitude is magnitude of the force required to hold you there. Its direction is also direction of the maximum directional derivative to hold it there. You can consider any scalar function psi of x, y, z, operate the vector three-dimensional vector differential operator del or nabla on the scalar point function, you will get gradient of the scalar function. This is a simple physical interpretation of gradient of a scalar function. I want to give you one more example. You know equipotential surface. Equipotential surface. Equipotential surface is supposed to be that surface no work is done when you move along the surface. Equipotential surface is that surface. The potential everywhere on the surface is same. Let me clear. Equipotential surface is that surface where the potential everywhere at every point of that surface is same. Therefore, that surface is known as equipotential surface. And when you are moving on the equipotential surface, no work is done. Then that surface will be equipotential surface. You can have various examples of equipotential surfaces. You may go for electric field, you may go for gravitational field. Let me consider here the example of gravitational field. The surface of the earth, if it is plane everywhere, the surface of the earth, if it is plane everywhere, is an equipotential surface, and you are supposed to do no work when you are moving along this surface. Let us take example of a playground. Let us take example of a playground. When you want to play any game on that playground, you need to make that ground more and more plain. Some portion may have come up, some portions may have gone down the surface, and you have to clear these things. You have to make the ground perfectly plain. And what you use to make the ground perfectly plain? Some of you surely players, maybe athletic players, maybe cricketers, or maybe of any sort of player. What we do to make the ground plain? We hire a roller. The weight of the roller may be 5,000 to 1,000 kg, about 1 ton. Let us consider weight of the roller is about 1 ton. And one of the smart players asked to roll the roller line by line on the ground. And a single player, or at the most 2 players, by holding handle of the roller, they move the roller on the whole playground and makes the ground plain. Just 2 players. Weight of the roller is 1 ton. 1 ton roller is rolled here and there everywhere on the whole playground by simply 2 players. How it was possible? This is because the playground is equipotential surface and almost no work is done when you move along equipotential surface. Now, instead of the 2 players, call 2 wrestlers, bodybuilders, and ask them, these are our 2 players. Using this roller, they made the ground plain. Now you do one thing. You 2 are bodyguards, wrestlers, powerful persons. Pick up the roller and keep in the van, because we have hired this roller from some other institute and we have to give back the roller to it. What will happen? The 2 bodybuilders could not pick up the roller even by inch, even by millimeter. Why? 2 common players used the roller of 1 ton weight to make the ground clear. Why not these 2 bodybuilders, 2 strong persons can pick it up? What is the reason? No. Okay. If it is not possible for the 2 strong persons, 2 bodybuilders to pick up the roll, call 5 bodybuilders, call 10 bodybuilders and ask them, you together, you 10 guys, you together go to the roller and pick it up and keep it in the vehicle, because we have to give it back to the institute from where we have hired. And you will find that these 10 bodybuilders, these 10 strong boys, these 10 strong gentlemen could not pick up the roller even by an inch from the ground. What is physics behind this? Two common players rolled the roller all over the big playground and make the ground plane. Why these 2 or 5 or 10 bodybuilders or strong persons could not pick up the roller even by inch from the ground? The physics behind this is the work you need to do when you are moving along equipotential surface is negligibly small. You may consider 0. The two players working with the roller exactly on the equipotential surface, along the equipotential surface, and therefore they need to do very small amount of work. Let us suppose that we have one more imaginary surface over the surface of the earth, about 2 meters away from the surface. That will be also equipotential surface. No work is needed to do when you are moving, when you are rolling, when you are taking anything along the equipotential surface. Every equipotential surface is a scalar field, is a scalar function. When you wanted to pick it from the ground, you are working not along the equipotential surface, you are working normal to the equipotential surface, perpendicular to the equipotential surface. And when you are doing any work perpendicular to equipotential surface, it is not potential, it becomes intensity, gravitational intensity. The gravitational intensity is always normal to equipotential surfaces. It is perpendicular between two equipotential surfaces. And when you are trying to take some heavy object from first equipotential surface to second equipotential surface, you need to do work. A strong force is required. This force required is gradient of the scalar field. The force required is gradient of the scalar field. The work done will be this gradient multiplied by distance between these two equipotential surfaces. So, if we have one equipotential surface, a potential V, other equipotential surface parallel to this of potential V dash. If you are doing any work along this, work done is approximately 0. If you are doing any work, this is one equipotential surface, this is other equipotential surface. You are doing any work along this, it will be approximately 0. If you are doing any work along this, it is approximately equal to 0. Along equipotential, no work is done. Virtually no work is done. But when you are doing work from this equipotential surface to this equipotential surface, you are doing work along this normal, along this perpendicular between these two equipotential surfaces. This is scalar function, this is scalar function. You are doing work this way, okay, and to do this work, you need a force, and the force you needed to do this work is what? Gradient of a scalar field. In this case, it is minus del V, or you can simply put just del V. Generally we give minus side, minus del V. or I may write this in 3 dimensions. I dou v by dou x plus j dou v by dou y plus k dou v by dou z with the minus sign. Del v. What is del v? Gradient of a scalar point function. Okay, so this is about the physical interpretation of gradient of a scalar function. I have tried to explain these things taking 2 examples in a very simple language. Hope you understood. So this is about physical interpretation of gradient of a scalar function. Thank you.